These are 10 moments in LPGA Tour history that turned triumphs into disasters, legends into lightning rods, and routine tournament rounds into front-page controversies. From penalties that cost major championships to hot mic disasters that exposed raw emotions, these incidents reveal the pressure, politics, and human drama that lurk beneath golf's polished surface. In today's era, where Nelly Korda can win 5 consecutive tournaments and still face these same systemic challenges, these stories show how far women's professional golf has come and how far it still needs to go. April 2017. Lexi Thompson is playing some of the best golf of her life at the ANA Inspiration in Rancho Mirage, California. She's posted rounds of 69, 67, 67, sitting at 15 under par, 3 shots clear of the field heading into Sunday. A second major title feels inevitable. Then, an anonymous TV viewer ruins everything. While Thompson slept Saturday night, someone at home was rewinding their DVR, convinced they'd spotted something on the 17th green. Thompson had marked her ball, placed a coin, then replaced it, but to this viewer, something looked off. They emailed the LPGA Sunday morning. Thompson tees off unaware, extends her lead to 4 shots. Then, on the 12th tee, rules official Sue Witters approaches her. Video review had determined Thompson replaced her ball approximately 1 inch from its original position. 2 strokes for the incorrect placement. 2 more for signing an incorrect scorecard the night before. Her 4-shot lead becomes a 1-shot deficit, gone in a single conversation. "Is this a joke?" Thompson asked. "Whatever, that's just ridiculous." Cameras caught her fighting back tears in real time. But she didn't fold. She birdied the very next hole from 25 feet, then made 2 more birdies to force a playoff with So-yeon Ryu. Ryu won on the first playoff hole. Thompson spent 30 minutes after the loss signing autographs. The backlash was swift. Tiger Woods publicly said TV viewers shouldn't be wearing stripes. Within weeks, the USGA and R&A introduced the Lexi rule, restricting video evidence for infractions invisible to the naked eye. Witters later admitted the call made her sick. But the damage to Thompson's psyche, her momentum, her major tally was already done. July 2015. The Solheim Cup in Germany, the women's equivalent of the Ryder Cup, is already electric. Europe holds a commanding lead on day 2, and in a tense 4-ball match, 20-year-old American rookie Allison Lee is up against Suzann Pettersen and Charlie Hull. On the 17th hole, Lee faces an 18-inch putt. In match play, opponents routinely concede putts this short. It's called a gimme. It's standard courtesy. It keeps the game moving. Based on the European's body language, Lee assumes the putt is conceded. She picks up her ball and walks to the next tee. Pettersen hadn't conceded it. She immediately claims the hole. The Americans are stunned. Captain Julie Inkster calls it disrespectful. Lee, already intimidated as a first-time Solheim Cup player, is devastated. The story explodes across social media and mainstream sports coverage under the name Gimmegate, drawing attention far beyond golf's usual audience. Then something remarkable happens. The Americans, trailing 10-6 heading into Sunday singles, use the incident as jet fuel. They need 8.5 points from 12 matches, one of the steepest climbs in the competition's history. Fueled by anger, they pull it off, winning 14.5 to 13.5 in what becomes known as the Miracle in Germany. 8 European players join the American celebration that night. Pettersen doesn't. Her apology the following day describes the moment as the worst she's ever felt on a golf course. The cruel, almost poetic irony? Suzann Pettersen is now the European Solheim Cup captain, responsible for building the team unity her actions once helped destroy. July 2016, Cordval Golf Club, California. Anna Nordqvist and Brittany Lang are in a 3-hole aggregate playoff for the U.S. Women's Open title. Nordqvist, already a 3-time major champion, is the favorite. This should be a dramatic, made-for-television finish between 2 elite players. Instead, it becomes a masterclass in bad timing. On the second playoff hole, Nordqvist finds a fairway bunker. During her practice swing, her club grazes the sand ever so slightly, a violation, technically, but one barely visible to the human eye. Television cameras catch it. USGA officials begin reviewing the footage. Here's the problem. They review it while the players keep playing. Nordqvist continues the playoff completely unaware she's carrying a 2-stroke penalty. She's competing for a major championship with the outcome already decided. She just doesn't know it yet. Officials inform her on the walk to the final playoff hole. By then, it's a formality. Lang wins. She's gracious about it. You never want to win that way, but the victory feels incomplete to almost everyone watching. Nordqvist handles it with composure. Seemed kind of unreal, she says, but I'm certainly disappointed by the timing. The timing is the whole story, not the penalty itself, but the decision to let 2 players compete for a major, while officials quietly review footage that has already determined the result. It plants a seed of doubt that grows louder with each similar incident after it. If a violation can't be seen with the naked eye, should it decide a major championship? Golf doesn't have a clean answer yet. July 2017. An email lands in LPGA players' inboxes outlining new dress code guidelines, effective immediately. Plunging necklines banned, leggings worn as pants banned, skirts or shorts that don't sufficiently cover the bottom area banned, first offense $1,000 fine. Each violation after that, the fine doubles. The email is meant to be quiet and professional. Instead, it detonates. Golf influencer Paige Spiranak goes public with her criticism, arguing that labeling women as unprofessional for showing cleavage or wearing athletic clothing reinforces exactly the kind of outdated stereotypes sports should be moving away from. The conversation spreads well beyond golf media, but the player response isn't unanimous. Christina Kim pushes back on the criticism directly, asking whether anyone genuinely needs ventilation for their side boob, pointing out that professionalism has a look. Stacey Lewis says she's shocked by the outrage, noting that the NFL and NBA both enforce dress codes without this level of controversy. What the debate really exposes is a deeper tension the LPGA has never fully resolved. How do you balance a traditional sports image with the kind of personality-driven, social media-native athletes who are actually growing the game? Who decides what's appropriate for women athletes, and would those same standards ever be applied to men? The dress code stays. The conversation cools, but the controversy leaves a mark. A reminder that in women's professional sports, the question of how female athletes are allowed to present themselves is never just about clothing. It's about control, identity, and who holds the power to define professionalism. January 2023, Lake Nona Golf and Country Club, Florida. The LPGA Tournament of Champions, a prestigious event featuring recent tour winners playing alongside celebrities in a pro-am format. One of the marquee events on the calendar. And the world's best female golfers can't get into a locker room. Club officials decide that the men's locker room needs to remain accessible to male members and guests throughout the week. The female professionals are redirected to makeshift changing areas, cramped, inadequate, not built for a professional tournament field. Players trying to prepare for competition are instead navigating logistics that shouldn't be anyone's problem at this level of sport. The frustration is immediate and pointed. Ryan O'Toole makes clear she isn't blaming the club or the sponsor. She's blaming the LPGA for failing to identify and fix this before the tournament even started. Matilda Castren frames it practically. Male professionals would never absorb an hour of lost practice time as collateral damage from a venue oversight. Yet that's exactly what these women are expected to accept. The incident is uncomfortable because it isn't dramatic or isolated. It's mundane and recurring. LPGA players regularly compete in venues not designed with women's professional golf in mind. The gap between their experience and what PGA Tour players take for granted is wide and persistent. Most of the time it goes unmentioned. This time it didn't, and it forced a public conversation about whether the LPGA fights hard enough for its own players when negotiating the basic terms of competition before the first tee shot is ever hit. February 2019, Honda LPGA Thailand. A moment that most casual fans had never heard of and that players couldn't stop talking about. Amy Olsen is chipping from just off the green. Thai star Arya Jutanugarn's ball is sitting on the putting surface nearby. Under the rules, Olsen can ask Jutanugarn to mark her ball before she plays. She doesn't ask. She chips, and her shot strikes Jutta Newgarden's ball, slowing it down and leaving Olsen in a significantly better position than she might otherwise have ended up. This is called backstopping, and it's completely legal. Olsen insists the contact was coincidental, that she had no intention of using her playing partner's ball as a break. But social media isn't interested in benefit of the doubt. Accusations of deliberate gamesmanship spread fast. Often the incident becomes a flashpoint for one of golf's most uncomfortable conversations: the gap between what the rulebook allows and what the locker room considers acceptable. Because that gap is real. Experienced tour players know that technically legal moves can still violate the unwritten code that holds professional competition together. Backstopping sits right in that gray zone, legal enough to escape punishment, unsportsmanlike enough to damage reputations. The controversy also surfaces cultural and generational divides about what the spirit of the game actually means in practice. Older players see it differently than younger ones. International players sometimes operate by different unwritten codes than Americans. The rulebook can't legislate all of that, and moments like this one make that limitation impossible to ignore. June 2024. Nasa Hataoka, 6 LPGA victories. A major player in the Rolex Women's World Golf Rankings is disqualified from the ShopRite LPGA Classic. Not for something she did intentionally. Under the rules, players have exactly 2 seconds to search for a lost ball. Under the rules, players have exactly 3 minutes to search before a ball is declared lost and penalties apply. Hataoka's search, according to video analysis, ran to about 3 minutes and 25 seconds. 2-stroke penalty, but she'd already signed her scorecard without that penalty included, which means the infraction becomes a disqualification. The cruelty compounds. Hataoka isn't told until the following day, and after she's already completed her entire second round. She plays 18 holes competing for a tournament she's unknowingly been eliminated from. Then she finds out. The timing also hits her Olympic hopes. The DQ drops her in the world rankings out of the qualifying position she'd been chasing all season. What starts as a 25-second timing dispute ends as a career-altering moment. Fellow player Jenny Shin says what the tour is thinking. Disqualifying someone based on video-timed seconds after a scorecard is signed shouldn't be how this works. The punishment doesn't fit the violation. And the question it raises about how technology is used to police the game doesn't have a comfortable answer. Modern golf has the tools to catch everything. That doesn't always mean it should. May 2003. Annika Sorenstam, 72 LPGA victories, 10 major championships. Eventual Hall of Famer who would later receive an honorary Augusta National membership, accepts a sponsor's exemption to play the PGA Tour's Bank of America Colonial in Fort Worth, Texas. She becomes the first woman to compete in a PGA Tour event since Babe Zaharias in 1945. The golf world does not react calmly. Vijay Singh, ranked 4th in the world at the time, says she should qualify like the men do and that he doesn't want to be beaten by a woman. Nick Price calls it a publicity stunt. The criticism is blunt and widely reported. Meanwhile, more than 500 media members credential for the tournament, triple the usual number. Every shot, every expression, every walk between holes becomes a news event. Sorenstam prepares quietly. She later recalls telling herself that wherever her first drive goes, she'll find it and hit it again. That her cat Nelson will still love her no matter what she shoots. She also remembers having the entire locker room to herself. A small, telling detail about just how alone she was in that environment. Her first round 71 impresses even her critics. Scott Verplank calls it the best round of the year, man, woman, or child. A second round 74 means she misses the cut. But the scorecard was never really the point. Sorenstam proved that women belonged in that conversation. She changed the way golf, and sports more broadly, talked about gender and competition. The doors she nudged open in Fort Worth in 2003 are still open today, and the players walking through them know exactly who got there first. September 2007. The Solheim Cup in Sweden. Former LPGA star turned television commentator Dottie Pepper is on the broadcast, watching Americans Laura Diaz and Sherry Steinhauer struggle badly in their match. During what she believes is a commercial break, Pepper lets her guard down. She describes them as choking, freaking dogs. Her microphone is still live. The comment goes out to viewers around the world in real time. In the pre-social media era, it still travels fast enough to become one of the most remembered broadcast moments in golf history and one of the most discussed examples of a hot mic disaster in sports. What makes it land so hard is who's saying it. Pepper isn't an outside critic or a pundit with no skin in the game. She's a respected former player who competed in Solheim Cups, who knows exactly what the pressure feels like from inside those ropes. Her words carry weight precisely because of that credibility. And that same credibility makes the betrayal sting more. Choking dogs follows Pepper for years. Her career survives the moment, but it becomes a permanent reference point in conversations about former athletes moving into broadcasting, about how much honesty is appropriate, how much loyalty is owed, and where the line sits between sharp commentary and something that crosses into cruelty. It's a line every analyst walks. Pepper just happened to cross it with her microphone on, in front of everyone, at one of women's golf's biggest stages. April 1st, 2012, and IK Kim had hit every single green in regulation at the Kraft Nabisco Championship, standing over a 14-inch putt that would hand her a first major championship. The ball rolled around the entire lip in a full horseshoe and spun back out the exact same side it entered, and the gallery didn't cheer or groan. They gasped, the way people do when something feels wrong before their brain can explain why. Her caddy had already been accepting congratulations from the other caddies before she ever struck it, which made what came next even harder to watch. The bogey pulled her into a playoff with Sun Young Yu, who won it on the first hole, and Kim lost a major on a putt most weekend golfers knock in without thinking. 5 years of quiet damage followed. Wins dried up. Strangers would break down crying in front of her about that putt, and she found herself consoling people about her own heartbreak while privately the self-criticism turned genuinely unhealthy. That changed when Kim rebuilt through meditation and mental coaching, arriving at Kingsbarns in Scotland in August 2017 to win the Women's British Open wire-to-wire, her first major, 5 years on. Her opening shot of that final round nearly dropped for an ace, leaving a foot-long tap-in. She knocked it straight in without a breath. 5 years of wait, one clean stroke. These moments matter because they show us that sports are never just about sports. They're about human beings pursuing excellence under extraordinary pressure, making split-second decisions that can define careers and change lives. They're about institutions grappling with tradition and progress, trying to balance competing values of fairness, inclusion, and competitive integrity. Today's stars like Nelly Korda, fresh off her historic 5 consecutive wins in 2024 alongside Charlie Hull, Gino Thidakul, Lydia Ko, and rising talents competing for spots at the CME Group Tour Championship, have learned from these controversies, carrying forward lessons about resilience, sportsmanship, and standing up for what's right. They compete in an era where legends like Michelle Wie West and Jin Young Ko have shown that LPGA players can transcend golf itself, while Hall of Famers like Inbee Park and Lorena Ochoa prove that greatness knows no borders. Most importantly, they remind us that behind every scorecard and every trophy is a human story of triumph, heartbreak, controversy, and redemption. In the LPGA Tour, as in all sports, those stories are what make the game worth watching, worth caring about, and worth remembering long after the final putt drops.